Get ready for your unofficial dental hygiene podcast. These are the tales of two hygienists, one East Coast RDH and one West Coast hygienist. Listen as they tackle the profession of dental hygiene with humor and enthusiasm. Now, please join Michelle Strange and Andrew Johnston as they tell you a tale of two hygienists. Cursed with audio issue.
Well, I think it's because you had actually said the words like it's happening again, and it wasn't happening today until you said those words. So
the adventures of Andrew and Michelle,
yeah,
they continue.
Yeah, it's ugly. It's ugly, folks. We don't know what we did to the podcasting gods, but we really pissed them off somehow.
We really did. Whoever has like a podcasting voodoo doll out there.
This was like
mercy.
Poking our
we
doll.
Surrender. We surrender.
Like severing the pretend microphone cords for us, and
yes,
it's not pretty. But
so if you listened to last week, you heard that we got some issues with an SD card. Just now, my computer just said system overload and stopped recording all of a sudden.
Yeah. Okay,
it's
so
always something, dude.
An update with the SD card. So I've talked to Kroll. Something services, whatever. And we are sending the card out this week coming up. And they're going to do an evaluation and tell us what files they can save off of it. It is not looking great.
Okay. Already. They were just like, don't get your hopes up.
Yeah. And it's also going to cost about between $400 and $900, they said. So we will see how worth it is for us to keep those. Here's the thing that I'm having the hardest time with it is those are irreplaceable moments in life.
Exactly.
And money is just money. Not that I have the money. Just saying that in general, like
poor hygiene podcasters.
When I die, it's not really going to matter anything else, and we can leave these audio files behind. So that's kind of the thing that I'm thinking about, and hopefully we can figure out if we want to save these things, if it's possible or not. So that's the update for that. And again, I'm really sorry about all of this.
It happens, dude. Now, lesson learned. We are going to upload immediately.
You know what I was thinking? It'd be really cool is if the Zoom H6 had the capability to upload directly.
Had like Wi-Fi on it.
Mm-hmm.
Do better, Zoom. That does seem like a really smart. If I can do that with my camera,
yeah,
like upload straight from my camera onto Wi-Fi, like through Wi-Fi, it would make sense that would be done. But
so I'll send them an email and have them work
until then.
The next one.
They should pay for this screw up, is what it should be.
I don't think that's how it works.
You don't have this feature, and now I've lost everything.
Yeah.
Well, it's not how it works. Okay.
So also this week, I am in lots of pain this week.
Why?
I don't know, my back and my neck still. My shoulder is really killing me. And we went to Las Vegas for vacation, and the Cirque du Soleil shows,
mm-hmm.
like they do the acrobats and stuff like that. And they're like, hey, Andrew, come help, do these shows with us. I'm like, okay, fine. So I was on the trapeze way up high. And no, none of that's actually true, but
I wish you could see my face right now.
It was disbelief, everyone. It was just disbelief. She's like, why are you even telling this? I know it's not true already. Just shut up. That's what it was. No, we were in Vegas this week on like a family vacation, and we just stayed at the hotel, like the little resort area.
Which I feel like that's just an oxymoron.
I know. I get that a lot. But
family vacation,
like the place we stayed at was like
it's like two different sentences.
Yeah, I mean, but there's like 3 swimming pools, and they had different places to eat there. I mean, it's like a resort type place off the strip.
I mean, if you can stay away from the strip, then it's probably fine.
And we did, except for we went to M&M World and the Rainforest Cafe with the kids.
How many strippers were approaching your children?
I mean, Zach took one home, And
way to raise them, man.
yeah, I'm like, well, as long as they're, a 9 or above. I mean, let's not get the ugly ones.
Standards. Teach them right.
Anyways, so I would wake up Tuesday night, and I was just dying. My shoulder was on fire, and I couldn't figure it out. So when we came home Wednesday, and I went to the chiropractor and got a massage and stuff like that. That didn't help. And then Thursday, I went to the chiropractor again, had them look at it again, and it didn't help. And then Saturday, I did the same thing, and it didn't help. And so now I'm getting kind of worried because, I never had any of these back or neck or shoulder issues until before the car crash. But I have a hard time really thinking that it's really just because of the car crash.
It might have been something that just triggered, push you over the edge. Maybe. I mean, are they teaching you exercises and stuff? Are you stretching?
I'm not supposed to stretch.
Are you doing anything other?
They specifically said don't stretch because my ligaments with whiplash are repairing, and it's going to take 6 months. They said to do normal, everyday exercise routines that I normally would be doing, which includes dental hygiene. And I feel like that's...
Have you researched this at all?
Researched what a doctor tells me? No, I don't. I just do what they tell me.
Oh, yeah, because, every dentist that's ever said anything has been really spot on, too. So...
Well, I changed chiropractors because I didn't like the other ones. Because I heard... Remember we talked about that before?
Remember we've also talked about just because there's a DR in front of their name doesn't mean that they know everything.
Which is
I also think that you shouldn't get your degree from Google, but you should just be an informed person so you have the right questions to answer or ask. And then if they are not giving you answers, find out why.
Okay. They just said heat and ice. They do heat and ice and just.
Are you doing that?
And yeah. And
are you doing that, Andrew?
Yeah, I am. Michelle, look at my eyes.
I trust that as far as I can throw you, buddy.
No, and I have there's a little massage chair at work and stuff I use too.
Oh, that's nice.
So yeah,
sometimes there's too much massage.
Maybe.
I think I've done that before.
Guess what they told me to do this last time?
I foam rolled like crazy, and they were like, "Put the foam roller away. Do not touch it for at least 1 week." I'm like, "But it feels so good."
I get to have, cupping with the massages.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So she's like, it's not the one that Michael Phelps has, the one where it leaves marks on you because a big giant hickey.
Oh, I get that all the time.
They use there's oils or something they use, and so that she pulls it across your back.
Yeah. I'm
like, oh, that sounds lovely. I don't.
I also have Graston and ART done on my neck and my back, which ART it's just oh my God, my cat's freaking out next to me. It's just, I probably just looked up Graston and ART, but it will, if there's any kind of adhesion right there at the top of the skin, it'll not blister it, but almost do petechiae. So it looks like you have just a giant hickey down that one neck muscle. So just the trap or the SCM, I'll have just a long line, and they're like, maybe you should just wear your hair down today. Oh my God.
Who are you making out with that makes this long line?
What octopus latched onto your neck? So that's a bummer. I'm sorry, bud.
Yeah, it's okay. Life goes on. You know what it's time for right now? We have 2 more things we need to get through before we introduce this episode.
Yeah, I got a boat to go on.
Oh, that boat. Okay, let's talk about the boat too in a minute. Reviews.
Oh, we got more reviews?
We do. I'll only read one of them this time, and I'll read more next time.
We got more than one?
Yeah. This one was from June 9th. We're a little bit behind, obviously. It says, interview start time, please, by Centaur 12543. As a dental hygiene student, I have learned so much from this podcast. It is funny and informative. My only suggestion would be to post the time that the interview starts in the comments of each episode. Sometimes I don't have time for the whole thing, and it is hard to find just scrolling through. Thanks. So that is actually a
Andrew
great
and Michelle,
suggestion.
shut up and put the interview on.
Yeah, that's pretty much, and that's not even the first time we've heard that. So, good call on that one. Here's the reason why we're not going to do that. Only because
we're not.
We're going to put the start time. No, I mean, this is what we're going to do for you. If you promise to hang in there with us, dear dental hygiene student listener, when we start getting paid buco dollars and have someone produce this for us, they will start putting it in the show notes. But that's a lot of work, because a lot of times we record our... Are you going to do it? You're giving me a face like...
I don't think it's... I mean, I could easily see when I edit my portion of it, like how many minutes we're into it.
Okay. So
I could do that.
Disregard everything I said. Michelle's going to start putting it in the show notes for us. is what I heard.
And the difference is that Andrew doesn't do that part. I do that part. Like I do our intro and segments and stuff. So, I mean, you mash it all together. So it really isn't that hard on your end either. But that hard.
It's another step in the whole process.
No, it just stops recording. I don't know what's going on. We're back after yet another record for the love of all technical difficulties.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see. We've restarted things, and we'll try again. And we're just talking about how it's going to be so easy for you to edit all this and add another step in the process. And
so maybe you won't get it on this one.
Yeah.
Sorry.
See, I'm just telling you, it's like, oh my gosh. I am so...
It's a podcasting gods. We have pissed them the F off.
I'm so over all the little tiny problems that we have that... Like, it shouldn't even be that big of a problem, but like something like this, like we had to stop recording again for like the fourth time.
I know.
And then restart and like, okay, where were we in this whole thing? We were on reviews, but I think we're done with that review. And it sounds like Michelle's going to try.
So the point of that review, I'm going to try. But this is how much we love you guys, and we love the feedback because it makes us like want to do it more despite all of this nonsense that keeps happening to us. Like some days it's just, it makes me want to pick up my computer and throw it across the room and say all of the cuss words.
Well, and later on in this episode with the interview, there's actually a really big announcement that we're making that is going to include a few people, and I think that's going to make this part of it, like the show notes and things like that we're talking about, a lot easier, and it's really exciting. So we'll get to that though in a little bit, though. Don't worry. Yeah, I know Michelle wants to talk about going out on a boat today.
Oh, I don't want to talk. I'm just saying I gotta go. I need to go on a boat. I'm so excited. Well, I go on the boat all the time. It's not like a big deal.
Yeah, you do. But what was this Creek Olympics thing that you're telling me about?
Oh, so yesterday I did Creek Olympics, which is like you get a partner and it's a team, and you start with slip and slide flip cup. Then you go to the creek and you paddleboard, go around a buoy, come back. The person kayaks, goes around, and like you're just like whoever wins. So each thing you're like trying to win the most. Then there's like can jam and cornhole and ladder golf, and it's just a lot of activities.
It sounds actually like a lot of fun.
Drinking.
Minus the drinking part.
It was so much fun. Well, I mean, the flip cup is kind of like where you have to drink with flip cup, but all the rest of them, like, you don't. I mean, if you don't want to, you don't have to. It's just more of, we have always a beer in the hand. Is like when you step up to like the game with the team you're going against, you say, is this a beer in hand or two hands? Like, because like can jam, which is like throw the frisbee and you're trying to hit it in a certain part of this can almost. And so your partner, like if I throw it to you, you have the ability to smack it to hit this can if I like overthrew. Well, if you only have one hand and a beer in the other, like it definitely ups your skill level. So
factor increases.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, that yesterday was Creek Olympics. Today is the boat, which I mean, it's 4th of July weekend, you know. Yeah. It's a lot of outdoorsy activities, and I got to meet everybody at the landing promptly because this is a busy weekend. So parking's a biatch, and getting out there without somebody dying is also, you know, it's a little crazy on the water. Yeah. Normally I don't go out for the 4th. I was really talked into this.
Do you guys have restrictions on fireworks and stuff there? because it's not as dry there.
Oh, I was having this conversation yesterday. Listen, I mean, the great state of South Carolina. You can buy fireworks. It is illegal to shoot them.
Interesting. Is it just aerial ones, or like you can't light any of them?
You can't light any of them.
Really?
But there's a fireworks stand every stoplight. You can buy them, but don't fire them.
Interesting. Way to go, South Carolina.
It's so ridiculous. I know. It kills me sometimes. So, yeah. But today we are going to have our buddy, Sarah Thiel from CE Zoom on. We're really excited. Andrew, even recorded this later so I could be a part of it. Because I was like, but I love talking to Sarah.
Yeah.
So thanks. Appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome, buddy. That's what we do. But Sarah and the podcast, I've been working diligently since, I want to say it's October of last year, on a special project that we're going to talk about in this interview. So be excited. It's awesome, and we can't wait to share it with you guys.
Hey, Michelle.
Yeah.
It's time for the interview.
Oh, but I had something else to say.
We need to let the experts talk now.
Fine.
Oh, no.
What?
Oh, I was just thinking about who we have for our interview. No, don't worry. We don't have any audio issues.
You can't
I
say
know,
that.
we're fine.
Do you understand what that does to my level of anxiety already this morning after all of this?
It's been a bad day. It's been a bad day.
I just want to say, Michelle, it's probably a good thing Andrew's in Washington.
Wait, it's a good thing for my life to be
For your
still
life.
alive?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You see what he does to me all the time?
Uh-huh.
I'd smack your face if you're right here in front of me.
Wow. I've never felt so much hostility.
That's actually
Sarah,
nice.
eggs you on.
Well, I don't know. I've been through some stuff with my business partner lately for her supporting me, and I would punch me. And she is so nice. So
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But that's a sign of a good friendship.
Yeah.
You think?
Yes,
Oh, it is.
Andrew.
Let's agree to disagree on that. But anyways, if you haven't been able to tell so far, this is our dear friend Sarah Thiel, back on that podcast for
Whoop, whoop.
fourth time, third time.
Oh no. Well,
You were a guest
this
host.
is only my
you've
second interview.
Yeah.
Second interview.
Yeah, but I've been on the podcast 6 times, but half of them didn't get aired.
Why? I wonder.
I don't know.
Too
Maybe
much
Andrew
wine.
lost it.
What happened in that
Michelle
hotel room
and Sarah
that
drank
time?
wine and got inappropriate.
I'll tell you what, though. That's not the only time that Michelle has been with a friend, and we tried to record, and it just did not make it to air.
Dang it. It's okay.
Just,
I feel like, though, for our listeners that are super loyal, that we should, just for subscribers, send it out just to certain people, because the ridiculousness in those pop episodes are just fantastic.
Yeah,
I've listened
and I
to them
think
before, and I
they would
laugh.
appreciate them.
I think somebody would appreciate it.
Somewhere. Someone needs
Yeah.
have a much better day, get a glass of wine, just listen to us being stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Sarah, the reason why you're here today, because we love you and we missed you.
I'm like,
And
why?
Andrew-
I'm not really sure.
Andrew messed up, and you
we were
are
not desperate.
and I'm by
our
default.
saving grace this week.
You really did save our bacon a lot, so thank you very much for being on. But also, I really wanted to kind of catch up a little bit with CE, because you and I have had lots of conversations over the since October AADB about the different requirements it takes to be able to deliver CE. So, for example, one of the big announcements that we want to make today is that we're going to start offering CE for the podcast episodes.
Woohoo! It's exciting.
And it's going to be free CE also. We're not going to charge the listeners for any of this crap. So, the problem that we had, though, was trying to become... Yeah, any of the crap that our people speak. Anyways, you've heard Michelle speak. It's all crap.
Yeah.
So,
Actually, Michelle has some research.
Yeah.
she does. Every freaking episode. It's just awesome.
Yep.
So, anyways, the problem, though, that we had was trying to find a provider for the CE. And that's kind of where you came in and was trying to help us troubleshoot. So, can you go over maybe some of the things that people assume about who can give CE and who can't give CE and all that?
Oh my goodness. If you guys even understood the level of assumption that goes on in this world, it's pretty comical.
It's sad and scary.
It is. So to be able to speak, you have to at least be qualified. So you'd have to have some form of a CV, some form of an...
I feel like there's so much even in that statement.
Let's start
So
there.
sorry.
Okay,
Wow.
so you have to have some form of education to speak on the topic.
Oh my gosh. Right out the gate.
Right out
I
of the
love
gate.
it. Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
you got to have that. Why is that so funny? That's the
It's so
truth.
I just
Because it's
I think
so
about the list of all the
true.
people that
You
I've
don't
heard
even
speak.
know what people come to us with. That's why I say that
man.
right away. Right away.
I'm
What is
not
your level
surprised.
of education? Can you?
Yeah.
Are you qualified to give this information? Like what makes you the expert in this? Because technically if you're speaking about it and you're teaching people about it, you're some form of an expert in some
Right.
way. So what
Right.
qualifies you to be able to give this? So you have to have something. We need proof before we'll certify you. And then, what else? Okay, so the content that you're giving has to be relative to dentistry, obviously. There's a lot of states that will accept CE that's just whatever, but they'll usually only accept like 5 or 6 of those credits. But 90% of the states don't. It has to directly relate to clinical dentistry. So like one of the courses that everybody gives and takes that doesn't count is ergonomics. Because that doesn't directly relate to patient care. Now there's ways to make your presentation better and talk about like the products in dentistry that are going to help with direct patient care,
Or
but
like
it's still tough.
instrumentation.
Yeah, like
and things like that.
certain types of like a nice dental chair where the patient can, like something that has to interact with the patient. But that still has to be 70% of your presentation. It can't just be like, oh, I'm going to just add in a couple instruments and call it good.
Right.
That's not,
Right.
you know, like there was a course called Yoganomics or Yoga for the Hygienist or Yoga, you know. And I'm like, well, first of all, the title kind of throws it off. Like if I were a state board member getting that, because in my state we don't accept that, I'd be like, Yoganomics. Nope. That obviously has nothing to do with dentistry. You know, just stuff like that. So, and here's the deal is the AGD, they don't check that. Like we'll certify a course as long as it's like, so say you do come to me with Yoganomics, we'll certify it, but we're not saying it's counting in every state. So just because it's AGD certified, we're just saying this person is qualified to speak. They are speaking on yoga and ergonomics. And those are the categories we're putting in there. It's up to you to know if your state will accept it or not.
So let's back up just a little bit. So let's talk about who the AGD is, and when you say putting the category, what do you mean by putting in the category?
So the AGD is the Academy of General Dentistry. It's them and the ADA CERP. So AGD PACE, ADA CERP, those are the two that are accepted in every single state. California is tough. California, you still have to do some things sometimes, but it's still accepted, like that type of course. So basically, they're the accrediting body. If you go to your hygiene association, typically we don't want to go into that, but they're typically the ones that are, okay, let's just forget that. I said that. Okay.
Let's just jump right over.
I'm trying to give examples of, your college. Like colleges are an acceptable form of an approved provider, which doesn't make any sense to me because, like nobody's actually checking these CVs. Nobody's actually keeping track. It's just a college. So why does it make that? Why are they approved? Like, I don't even understand, but whatever. So that's just how it works. But those are the main two. If you go to a course, stop laughing, Andrew.
I'm so sorry. It's just like,
it's so
I can tell
true.
that it's so true. And it's frustrating that's what's kind of going on.
Yeah. Like there's no regulation behind a lot of it unless it's like an AGD or ADA CERP course because they have to be because they actually check it. So that's cool. But if you go to one of those classes, it is accredited. Okay. Doesn't mean it's going to count though. That's something you need to be aware of. Like, oh my gosh, I have presented at I'm going to just throw a number out there, like 20-something dental boards. Every single time there is a dentist on a dental board that says, well, we just have the AGD track our CE for us, and we're good. I'm like, okay, so that course that this dentist I know took in Oregon on energy, that counts? And he's like, well, what are you talking about? I'm like, and I had a certificate of this, my business partner's husband. I mean, I can say his name, Brent. Brent went and took this course in Oregon, and we got the CE certificate, and it said energy. Like, using your body's energy. Like, that was this course. Like, that's what it taught him. It was AGD approved, but really, like, that doesn't count in any state.
No.
And they're like,
that sounds like Michelle's kind of course, to be honest.
But then they're like, but then they were like,
all about it.
They didn't get it. Like, this is a board member. These are board members that approve CE. And he was like, huh? What are you talking about? It's AGD approved. Right. But your state specifically calls out you can't have anything related to self-help. An energy course is 100% self-help.
Yeah.
And then
because you take that energy in and you give it back to your patient, so it's actually directly related to patients.
I guess. Well, maybe you can talk about your
transference
patient's
of energy.
Jesus.
That's
You need a law degree to argue some of these CEs.
It is. So that's the funny part. Like, that's where the problem lies. You know, like, nobody knows. The state board members, I am one, Andrew's one, we write these rules. And then we don't even understand them. Well, some people don't, obviously.
Especially when you're volunteering for a lot of it.
Yeah.
And you're not taught properly going into it.
But the funny thing is, like, okay, so, like, the state board member doesn't get it, but the executive director, whoever's doing the audit, they get it, and they're going to deny your certificate. Yet, our own dentists and hygienists on our own state boards don't understand.
So what?
And I'm not throwing anyone under the...
When you present that to them and you kind of shine a light on a problem, what is their feedback and response to that?
It's different everywhere. It depends on... And I try to be careful. You know, I'm trying to sell my product to them. Right. And I don't want to be like, in your face, you know? Yeah.
How do you like me now? Say something about that.
Honestly, like, sometimes they're like, I get, like, it just makes them think, really. Yeah. And I had one that was fighting me till the death, and I just finally was like, okay, your little tracker of AGD, which is great, is going to make sure you're compliant, even though it's not. But it's a counter. It's telling you you've completed 50 hours of an AGD approved course, of AGD approved courses. But if you were ever to get audited by your state, which you won't, probably, because you're on the state dental board, well, you might. I guess it's random.
Air quote.
Air quote, random. You probably won't get audited. You'll never know any different. But that's the problem. Like, like, I could go on. It just frustrates me so bad, the issues. And the fact that I could lose my license over this, you know, like, that's what bothers me.
Well, the thing is like, okay, good for you. You might not get checked because you are on the dental board, but how many others that are you representing that you're just kind of screwing over?
Exactly. Well, just because you don't understand, that's the problem. Like, if you're going to write these rules, enforce them.
Yeah.
Or don't write them. Like, there's obviously a reason that these rules got written.
Right.
Obviously, they want you guys... So the whole point of continuing education, let's start there, is for us to continually get educated while we're practicing. Because how often do things change? And a lot of people are just, like, cheating the system. They're going on little websites and getting free CE that have nothing to do with anything. And or they're not doing anything because their states don't audit. And they know it. You know, but I'm sorry.
We won't insert the states here, though.
No, we're not going to insert which states are not auditing. But I will say that there are several that don't because they can't. So
I guess this is kind of like this was the problem with what we wanted to do is by offering CE, we're trying to figure out. It's like, okay, well, it's really hard. We need to make sure that we're really on the up and up when we are offering this for the podcast. So for you, when you're looking at, you know, all these other problems, and then we say, okay, well, now we want to offer for the podcast. Well, how do you get accredited, or how do we get accredited to be able to offer
Oh yeah.
Like, what's the next step after the AGD or whatever?
I totally got off on a tangent on that.
So easy with this topic.
Great.
I know. I'm sorry, especially because I'm so passionate about it. Obviously. So you'll send in a CV. That's where we got. That's where we got to. Okay. And then what we're going to require from you is we want to see all of your overview, your objectives. We want to make sure whatever is being spoken about is with okay, so there's AGD codes. ADA CERP, I don't believe has them. I'm not as familiar with ADA CERP, but AGD PACE does have codes. So like a perio class, we would look up that code. It's almost like a code, for insurance, but it's like
CDT
3422, and the AGD knows what that means. And then we just put it into our program as perio. And so then that was a bad example because that course is going to count everywhere. But if it didn't for some reason, coming through CE Zoom, it would tell you. That's the beauty of it. Now, like a yogonomics, it would tell you, that does not count for your state.
Yeah.
But it will for some.
Your overall total of numbers.
Yeah, it'll tally it, but it's
apply to your license.
Right.
Yeah, we won't track it. You're still going to stay at whatever you were at.
And I think it's also important to say that these classes, you should take them.
Yes.
But I think that the problem with a lot of our profession is that people take bare minimum. And so they have to have those classes that are going to count towards their license because they're doing bare minimum. So if you are that person, you can't take this class and get the things that you'll get from it, the knowledge and experience and ability to take care of your body, because you have to go take all these other classes to count towards your license. So just do more.
Right.
Do more.
Well, there was an example. We were running at a conference somewhere, and Angie Stone, she won't care if I say this, I'm pretty sure. She was teaching a course on writing your resume and writing, like, how to make a cover letter, like, super important stuff. But it doesn't count for CE. Right. So we let her know, and which she's like, yeah, I know. And I'm like, yeah, but just so, like, you might need to make a disclaimer because I guarantee other people don't know that. And so at the beginning of her class, she said, no, she sent out an email before and just said, just letting you know, this course is very valuable, but it does not count for CE. I think half the people didn't come, which was really sad.
Crazy.
I'm like, what in the world? I mean, she still had a pretty good amount come, but like a lot of those people went to a different class that would count for their CE because they're only there.
They're doing the bare minimum
to get their CE, which is so sad because, and that's like where there's a problem with, like,
right.
With regulating something like that and mandating it, people don't see the value. They think, oh, I have to do this, instead of you should enjoy doing this. Anyway. Okay, sorry, Andrew, getting off again. So you're going to send objectives. You're going to send an overview to us. We're going to review it. We're going to put it with the right AGD code. We're going to make sure you're a qualified speaker. And then you can do it. You're going to be AGD approved. You get that approval for about a year-ish is what we certify it for. Sometimes you can get a course and we can approve it for over and over. Like if you want to give it like 10 times, it's approved. We approve it one time and then you just keep giving it. Or every time you give a new course, you have to submit it to us before it can go on CE Zoom.
So how would that work for a podcast episode? After 1 year, it doesn't work anymore, or?
It's actually 2 years, but it just depends on our accreditation because we have to renew every so often. And you just never know if you're going to lose it or not, so we don't promise anyone anything because of that. I mean, there's no reason we should, but
for a second. So you are applying to who to be accredited?
So we apply to the AGD.
Okay.
So CE Zoom is AGD approved.
Okay.
And it is a nightmare.
Yes.
If you've ever done it.
CE approved for Tepe, and I wanted to shoot myself.
Yeah.
It was awful.
Have you started renewing yet?
That will be next month. I'm going to start doing like all the minutes and the things. And
I think it's due August 1st. Well, ours is. Anyway, so Kat has been working on that. Sorry, I'm just telling you, this is the problem with this accreditation. It's a nightmare. We're renewing for January, and it's due August 1st. So just,
I'm so
I don't know.
glad I know this now. Okay.
I don't know if that's when yours is due, but that's when ours is due. And I would assume, or ours are due at the same time.
My anxiety level just went to like the max.
Oh, crap.
But it takes like, oh my gosh. So Kat called me yesterday. She's like, Sarah, I finally finished it. 70 pages. 70 to resubmit.
Yours is a little bit more intense. I'm just like me, myself, and I. So
That's true.
Hopefully.
It's just horrible. But okay, the beauty of it is by using CE Zoom, all your stuff is in one spot.
Yeah.
If that makes you feel any better.
Oh, and which is why, so giving my presentations with Tepe, I use CE Zoom, and it is really nice to have all of those. I mean, I've worked through a lot of little things as like now I make it super apparent that I will not give the code out after. Write it down. Like I can monitor and track if you are on the webinar or not, if you're not interacting and you're engaged. Like GoToMeeting, GoToWebinar tells me that. And like now I'm just like, it's out there. First 5 minutes, if you aren't present for the rest of it, don't email me after this. Don't like, because how many did I send that you and poor Kat? And I was like, what do I say to these people? It's like a week later and they're like, well, my daughter took my attention and I missed that last slide. I'm like, well, I actually don't believe you. I know it's probably true, but I don't believe you. Like, because it just is ridiculous.
Remember that girl? Well, no, there was a girl that we totally caught. It's just crazy. Like, don't try and cheat the system.
Hold
we
on.
got you.
What happened? Tell me the story behind the girl. You can't say
She's just
remember
trying
that
to
girl
cheat
and
the
then not
system.
tell me the story.
Well, again,
she
I have my analytics.
Was pinning me.
Yeah.
Yes, she was trying to pig us against Michelle.
Yeah.
Little did they know we're friends.
Right.
So
they were putting the blame on
listener.
one of us. Like they were yelling about CE Zoom to me. They were yelling about me. Like it was just. I was like, but I'm looking at your analytics. You literally didn't engage in this webinar at all.
Her thing was, because Michelle was asking questions throughout, like, what color would you put in this embridge?
Yeah.
I don't even know the words.
No, that's right.
You know, for the Tepe brushes, I was listening, I promise. So you just type, like, orange, yellow, like, whatever color you felt you would use. She's teaching you how to use these brushes correctly. And so Michelle asked this girl, okay, well, what was one of the questions that I asked? Well, you didn't ask any questions. I'm like, bull crap. She asked questions like every 5 minutes. So you know she wasn't on.
Yeah.
Like, it was just kind of funny.
But that's this kind of stuff. And, you know, I'm actually really glad to have CE Zoom to back me as like a sounding board. Almost like, how do I handle this? Like, I couldn't imagine doing this on my own and then doing all of the stuff after the fact and the surveys and then typing out the CE credit like for each one of them. Like, it's a lot and I don't want to do it. So thank God for CE.
And you don't have to. You just make one certificate and boom,
it's done.
You're done.
It's done. So when we look at like, because you and I have had this conversation about references before and citing and making sure that everything is up to date. Are you guys doing that too? Are you like going through all their references? Because that would be so time consuming.
No, we don't. And I mean, we're not required to do that. We just are required to make sure that you're qualified to speak.
Okay.
And then that's up to the speaker.
Okay.
To make sure that, well, you sign a paper. So we don't approve you for AGD because you have your own. But like anybody that comes through us, they have to have all their presenters sign a paper saying that what they're presenting is within 2 years, the research, and that all their images are their own. They didn't steal anything. Like, we have the presenter sign all that.
Okay.
It's a nightmare. Like, people don't want to do it, but we have to.
Yeah.
Well, it's because they steal images off of Google real quick. And
Yeah.
they're not their own.
I have never done that, so I don't know what that means.
Well, and you can do that if you give credit. Right. So that's where it all gets. It's just like writing a paper. Like, don't use someone else's words unless you put it in quotes and give them credit. So it's the same thing with the presenting of it. Like, if I jack it off of somebody's, like, half of my pictures are people that have taken clinical photos, and at the bottom of it is like Dr. Fromm, Dr. Salerno, like that they took these, and that's allowed. But you can't just jack it off of there and go, look at this. This was
is
my
mine.
patient that I took a picture of, and 3 months into it.
Oh, yeah.
And that happens a lot, unfortunately.
And I think you're supposed to even ask permission.
Yes, you do.
Like, you have to say, can I borrow your image? Like,
Yes.
Matt Cresbean, he had a thing from the Wisconsin Children's Health Alliance that he'd made for OSHA. And I was like, oh my gosh, can I steal this? Because it was perfect. It was really good to be able, like, I needed it. And he obviously said yes. But I mean, I'm leaving it on where it says Wisconsin's Children's Health Alliance.
Yes.
Like, I won't take that out.
Right.
But
People
anyway.
do it all the time.
You can't bring up Matt's name. We lost his episode. So
I'm
it's
sorry.
painful.
Again.
Don't talk about him anymore.
Matt hates you, I'm sure of it.
Well, and then Raphael, we've lost twice now.
Oh, I thought it was Matt's
So-
that you lost twice.
No,
no,
definitely
not
Raphael
yet.
and Matt.
Not
And
yet.
so you wonder why they're going to be my best buddies and not yours, Andrew.
I know. I don't wonder why. I understand it. It makes perfect sense to me.
Oh,
but
I'm sorry. It's not funny.
But you have to laugh
it
at
is-
it or
kind
you'll
of
go
is.
crazy.
Yeah, or it hurts
I
too
understand
much.
that.
The pain is too
The
much.
pain is
there.
too deep. You have to laugh about it.
So, so we're bringing Mike on board, like, for realsies to
Cool.
help be the liaison between CE Zoom and the podcast. What kind of things is he going to have to do? Is he going to be mostly doing the, not the agenda? Why do I always forget? You just said this word.
The objectives.
Outline,
The
outline
overview and the objectives and everything.
So yeah, like Matt, hello, Mike is going to have to read or listen to all your podcasts. Bless his soul. I'm just kidding. Because he can go back, and like, as
Yeah.
long as the content is like 70%
Clinical.
related to dentistry, related to patient care in some way, he can use those. I think there's quite a few. I mean, I've listened to most of your podcasts, and there's quite a few that have some really relevant information.
Yeah.
Like even this podcast, you're learning a ton about
Continuing
laws
it
and
in.
ethics,
Yeah.
laws in a way, So
Yeah.
we could put that. But
So how does that work when the interview is half or 3/4 of the episode? Like, you know what I mean? Like if it's like a 60-minute episode and you have 30 minutes worth of the interview, do we give out half credits?
No,
you can do
doesn't
that
it
and
have
then
to be-
combine. Yeah,
Isn't it anything over like 35 minutes is a credit?
I think it's 30. I don't know. See, Kat's the one that knows
Yeah.
this. She's
There's
the one that does
something
all our
like there's a
AGD
number.
stuff.
Figure this
But
out.
It
you
doesn't have to
can
be
give out
exactly
half
60.
credit.
Yeah. But anything
But I mean, if
over,
people are still, it's 50 minutes for, like if your podcast is only 50 minutes long, and then the content is 70%, 60, 70. I can't remember those numbers either, so don't quote me on that. But 60 to 70% directly related to clinical dentistry, you can give 1 CE for that. But if it's 30 minutes, you can give half a credit. So
That's Mike's job to try and figure out exactly how much.
yeah, he'll do fine. I mean, we had a call the other day, and I mean, it's really not. It'll be nice to have Mike for you guys because it is a lot of work. But
Yeah.
once he gets it, and I'm
Yeah.
going to have to teach him how to use CE Zoom and let him
It's
do all
easy,
that
though.
part. You'll be
and then it's going to
It'll be easy.
me and Andrew in the back duking it out over what constitutes CE.
right.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
Michelle thinks that if it's not like from last month's peer-reviewed journals, it is not CE.
It's not true.
I'm like-
It needs to be about 2 years. New.
Not true. I think that
Yeah.
there are some references that are outdated because that's all that we have. No one's done any current things, but this still is applicable. But I think
Well,
also
see,
you and I, the questions that we ask, the interview is going to be very different. Mine are going to be super nerdy and scientific because I want to up the knowledge and you're going to just be like, so
then
tell
we
me about yourself. You
lose
seem like a cool
listeners.
person.
Well, yeah, that's the thing is like you have to get to know the person to be able to like believe what they say. Like I don't believe everything that Sarah says if I didn't know her. You know what I mean?
What?
Let me finish. No, you have to listen to the whole thing.
You just said, I don't
know you
believe
now,
everything Sarah says.
unless I
That's
know
all I
her.
heard. That's all I
So
heard.
pretty much he's saying
I know
every
because you're a woman
presentation
and you
you've
stopped
given
listening after
to
you got
dental
what you wanted
boards,
out of that.
they don't know you.
Is a
so
lie.
They don't believe you.
No, it's hard. It's
what you
hard
just
to
said.
do that. I know. Don't you both try and get like gang up against me. That's not what this podcast is all about. All right. I'm supposed to be the approachable one. I'm supposed to be the nice one. You guys aren't supposed to fight me.
We're not fighting you. We're just
making you
Oh,
better.
that's not fighting?
We're just making you better.
Oh my gosh. You guys are, oh my gosh. We can't have you guys ever together again. This is too much.
It's too late. We're already besties.
Yes.
So, sorry.
And
Drives
you
Andrew
guys
crazy.
didn't go to Midwinter this year? Sorry?
They're going to
Midwinter.
RDH.
I'm saying RDH
I
under
was
one
like,
roof.
wait.
My
we can't go
midwinter
back.
already
I'm
happened.
like, it's Chicago, whatever.
Yeah.
It's
then
Chicago.
we're gonna-
That's why.
Have you told Kat yet?
No, don't tell her.
Okay.
Shh.
Well, she doesn't listen to this, does
No,
she?
no, and this is what I have to do to Kat because if I do, she'll get a cold sore. She'll be sweating it from like now till then. So don't
Okay.
tell her. Don't
I
tell
won't.
her.
But
Okay.
for our listeners,
Don't tell Kat.
Kat's going to be on the podcast.
And Kat is phenomenal. That girl is the smartest person I think I've ever met. She's just
Yeah.
terrified of people.
Which is so weird.
But
This kind of
Because
stuff.
when
She's not
The
scared of
great
people.
thing,
but-
though, is like most people get on here and it's like takes about 3 minutes to get used to just holding the mic, and then it's a conversation. It's like you don't even remember that
Yeah.
this will be anywhere outside of that moment,
right.
which is
Right.
nice.
Well, it'll be fine.
Or until
It'll be
it
great.
gets dropped on the concrete and shattered. So
I met her at ADHA last year, and we talked for like a half hour, like no problem. And that was the first time I've ever met her. Like we talked forever. It felt like so.
yeah, no, she's good. It's just it stresses her out because she doesn't feel like she just I don't know. She's always afraid she's going to use the wrong words, and you know what I mean. Like I don't know.
Listen,
I
she
wouldn't-
needs
I
to
don't
just
care.
listen to
I
this
just-
podcast one time.
I know. I'm like I just own it. I don't care.
Yeah.
Well, we're
But-
really.
Give her some wine.
I'm excited to have the podcast as a CE. I mean, we've always talked about like how we want really high level people that can really, disseminate some education, and so now it's like they can get the CE with it. So now they're getting the conversational style, which I think is also where Andrew and I, and I'll give on this a little bit, but I do think that I'm so used to CE being like very like we're gonna hit this point and this point and this point, and Andrew wants it more conversational, and I was like, but I just want to make sure that they're grasping what we're trying to get here, and if we don't make it an actual point where we sit and really talk on it, and it's just like in a sentence like, oh yeah, by the way, like you shouldn't use metal scalars on implants. Like, oh yeah, tell us more about that. And then you're like 30 seconds, you're on to another topic. Like, I think that there needs to be more to it. So I think that's where Andrew and I
More
are going
structure.
to really ping pong back and forth.
No, because here's the thing: they can just go re-listen to it again. That's the thing. It's like this is.
No, and it's not that
I
they can't
don't
listen to
think
it.
that we
My
have
issue
to
is like how
elaborate.
in depth are we going to get? I don't want to like it to be super jokey when we're talking about like something very serious.
You can still be jokey about it, just as long as people understand
deliver the content
the
still,
information.
you know what I
yeah.
mean?
I said I'm going to be.
See, I learn a lot better this way.
I'm going to give it a little.
This is way more fun to learn than sitting in a class with a PowerPoint.
It is.
Yeah. And I think also, Michelle, one thing that would help us, though, is if we have a guest coming on, writing those objectives ahead of time
Yeah.
with them.
Yep.
That'll kind of help steer the conversation.
And
but then
let
it
the
won't
guests
be so
know
rigid.
Yeah.
that this will be for CE. If they have their research, if they can reference things, I mean, as long as the presenter knows ahead of time, the person getting interviewed, then they might. Because sometimes, like, you go on a podcast like this and it's fun and you don't really go into as much depth as you normally would.
Yeah.
But knowing that this is going to be for CE, they will, I think.
Yeah. I hope so.
I hope so too.
I hope people really get some good value out of it. I think people have been really receptive so far, and I think this will just take it to the next level and give someone just a little bit more reason to listen to us.
A little bit.
Or Michelle.
I don't know. I think you guys are pretty fun
Thanks.
to
I
listen
think you're
to.
fun.
Thanks.
I like listening to you.
Well,
But
we're
it's
also all
awesome
friends,
for getting up so early and saving Andrew's butt.
Thank you.
Oh, and I need
Yeah.
you to understand something. So
Yeah.
Phil took my kids camping so I could get work done this weekend, which is awesome. But my neighbors got married on Friday, and it has been a fiesta all weekend.
Oh.
So I woke up yesterday. I started telling Michelle this, but I've also been having sleeping problems anyway. But I woke up at 2:00 yesterday morning, and the music didn't stop till
What?
5.
Oh,
And then
my
last
gosh.
night they were up all night. I don't know when they even went to bed. So I'm really tired. So you're welcome.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
You're awesome. We appreciate that.
Thanks for rubbing that in. But we'll get together again at RDH Under One Roof, and we'll do a deeper look at CE Zoom, a recap, if you will, because a lot has changed since last time.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's a whole new company now.
Yeah, so
pretty
that'll be
much.
fun.
It's exciting.
Whoop, whoop.
We're so proud of you.
Sarah, thank you so very much.
Awesome. Well, thanks for waking me up on a Sunday morning. I needed it.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Talk to you later.
All right. We'll talk to you later.
Listeners, I want to tell you a story. A story I found on the web, which makes this Scaling the Web with Andrew.
Okay.
All right. So this week in Scaling the Web, this was I actually had. You remember Matt posted something the other day about Australia ruling out the bad parts. That saying that fluoride was completely safe, etc. I wanted to talk about that one.
Yeah.
But then I found another one as I was just lurking around. Dental Hacks Nation.
Scaling
around. This one was posted yesterday, July 1st, from the Washington Post, and it says, "The Unexpected Political Power of Dentists." Did you see it?
No, I didn't.
I'm not going to read the whole thing because, as most things, they're too long, but I'll put it in the show notes. So it starts off by reading, "Little in politics has surprised Richard Malaby as much as the power of dentists. For years, local dentists held 4 Christmas parties at Malaby's 19th century country inn in picturesque town of Hancock. But in 2014, Malaby, a Republican lawmaker in the Maine state legislature, voted to create a new type of dental provider to perform basic services in poor and rural areas. The Maine Dental Association, which opposed the bill, was furious, and the dentists took their Christmas parties elsewhere, costing Malaby $6,000 that December and every Yuletide since. Among the general public, dentists tend to have a Norman Rockwell appeal. Solo practitioners who clean your teeth, tell your kids to cut down on the candy, and put their seal of approval on a range of minty toothpastes and mouthwashes. But lawmakers from Maine to Alaska see a different side of dentists and their lobby. The American Dental Association describing a political force so unified, so relentless, and so thoroughly woven into American communities that its clout rivals that of the gun lobby." Malaby says, "I put their power right up there with the NRA. Dentists do everything they can to protect their interests, and they have money. As the cost of dental care rises beyond the reach of millions of Americans, the dental lobby is coming under increasing scrutiny. Critics say the ADA has worked to scuttle competition that could improve access to dental care in underserved areas and make routine checkups and fillings more affordable." And this is actually part from from your part of the world. It says the FTC has battled dentists in state after state over anti-competitive conduct. In 2007, the FTC successfully settled a complaint over a South Carolina dental board requirement that dentists examine children in school clinics before hygienists can clean their teeth, adding greatly to the cost. In 2015, the FTC won a Supreme Court ruling against North Carolina Dental Board, which tried to block teeth whitening businesses from operating in malls. So I want to be very clear about this. The interesting thing about this type of article, and I still think it's a good read, and I still think that people should read it, but so they talk about the ADA, the ADA, and then both those two things with the FTC had zero to do with the ADA. It's with your state board.
They're state dependent, right? Yeah.
So it's like those are two different. I mean, yes, I understand that many state boards and their state associations are heavily intertwined. I get that. But a win for the FTC over a state board is not a win over the ADA.
Right.
But anyways, they do go in to talk a little bit about, dental therapists and access to care and things like that. Talks about, there's some stats about, where the dentists, work and what states of the country allow different, practitioner or therapy programs. So anyway, it's a good read, but it was not nice to the dentist at all. In fact, it said one of your things. It says, dentistry has been an old boys club. So that's from someone from the University of Washington.
Good old boys.
Yeah.
Yep. Which just sucks because there's some really great dentists out there.
Yeah.
There's some really wonderful dentists that support their team, that support doing good by the patient. And it's really sad that the louder good old boys are kind of making waves and causing problems and overshadowing the good ones.
Yeah. And I think, towards the end of the article, they do say that things are changing, and we'll have people like, Dr. Sullivan was on, and a lot of the people that we've had on our podcast and a lot of people that we interact with are taking
Snapchatting
pictures of yourself. You're so weird.
I was Snapchatting.
Good for you. I don't understand the chatting, the snapping, whatever.
Yes.
So,
God,
anyways, that's the article. Everyone go out and read it. The link will be in the show notes.
Well done, sir.
Thank you. So 6 minutes till Sarah gets here. Do you want to do your part at the end?
No, I can do it real fast.
Okay. Ooh, in 6 minutes? I doubt it. We'll see. Okay, go. Sorry.
It's about that time. Grab your blanket and a glass of wine. It's story time with Michelle.
So, story time with Michelle, again, is sans alcohol. This won't be routine after this. I'm sorry, guys. But it is also, again, super early in the morning that we are doing this. I have coffee, but I will soon enough be on a boat with a beer in my hand. So, continuing on with our communication skills for the dental health care provider, we're on Chapter 6, Refining Nonverbal Communication Skills. And so I'm just going to give the first paragraph, and then we're going to look at the checklist because I found that that's a really great overview of the chapter.
Excellent.
So
excellent.
Why nonverbal skills matter. Chapter 5 mentioned 2 sets of communication goals. Task force goals include educating, promoting, and explaining. Emotion-focused goals include empathizing, reducing anxiety, encouraging, and enhancing trust. Verbal communication can accomplish both types of the goals entirely without nonverbal communication. Providers can educate patients, promote oral health, and explain procedures without such nonverbal enhancements without such nonverbal enhancements as facial expression, gestures, or interpretive dance, but they must use spoken or written language. Language is also rich in expressing messages that accomplish emotional focused goals. And so with this in the very back of this checklist, again, I'm trying to learn how to do a mic and a book. So for our chapter checklist, they talk about the nonverbal communication and then fear. And in this, they say you want to portray empathy, friendliness, and competence to increase the satisfaction of the anxious patient. And I want to highlight and underline bold print competence, because I think the more you know about the procedure and what that looks like and the most current research, I can't tell you how many times that I've had patients that look up and they're like, God, you really do know a lot about this topic. I'm like, yeah, well, it's my job to make sure that I know all of it and inform you in the right way. And it has decreased their anxiety drastically, because they put their trust level has now increased with you just because you're able to explain it, because you know it so well that if they don't get it the first way you explain it in a different way. But that only comes after you know something really well. And that's why keeping up to date, I think, is extremely important. You want to use survey instruments such as dental anxiety scale, dental fear survey, or short dental fear questionnaire. For its sounds, you want to understand anxiety triggers such as the sound of instruments, the dental handpiece, crying children, and patients who moan or cry out. And that happens a lot in dental offices, which is always hard. You want to ask the patient for notification before he or she vocalizes. I always ask them to raise their hand or, kind of give me a little signal. Mm-hmm. Invite a parent, family member, or caregiver into the operatory. That's going to be last on my list.
Here. My can't stand that.
Yeah, that will be last. Play music or white noise. Encourage use of the MP3 players or earplugs, and close doors or leave them slightly ajar. I always encourage headphones. Understand anxiety triggers such as sight of instruments, direct light, scrubs and mask, and dental diagnoses, like never put the needle in front of their face. Keep instruments and syringes out of the patient's sight. You want to direct light away from the patient's eyes or provide sunglasses. I have protective eyewear that's tinted. Do you?
We do too. I know that there was a concern about not being able to see the patient's eyes, so make sure it's not so dark that you can't see their eyes, because that's like, if they're in pain, that's one of the things that you can see as they're responding to it. But
I used to feel like that too, but I've had it for probably 4 years and never had an issue.
Is that scientific evidence making it right?
Yeah, okay. I'm just saying.
It sounds like anecdotal.
I've not had it.
That's fine.
Oh, it is completely anecdotal. Okay. Pull down your mask when its use is not required. Be careful with that in infection control, though, guys. Sensations. Understand anxiety triggers such as the sensation of pain or dental instruments, anticipation of choking or gagging, and injections of anesthetic. Some people have a real hard time with that, especially when their tongue gets numb. They freak out. Acknowledge fears and assure the patient that caution and care will be taken. Narrate procedures and notify the patient about what will occur. Allow the patient to signal for breaks and to choose from alternatives whenever possible. Smells. Understand anxiety triggers such as the smell of methyl acrylic. I think that's right. Eugenol, carious teeth, handpiece burning, gloves, and perfume. And use low odor chemicals. Improve airflow and sparingly use air fresheners and essential oils. And essential oils have become kind of a big thing in operatories, I hear. You want to also avoid wearing perfume, which I do. And I know a lot of people are saying they still wear it.
I don't.
Which I don't
wear any cologne.
I think that's not. I don't. Because I'm super sensitive to other people, so I would hate that to be breathing in all your perfume. Taste. Understand anxiety triggers such as the taste of blood, gloves, and nitrous oxide. Rinse and suction the patient's mouth frequently during the procedure, and allow a means for the patient to signal when needing additional. Look for signs that the patient's distaste for latex gloves and nitrous oxide and other alternatives. So, yeah, pretty much you got to like coddle these people, which I'm not good at. So when we want to, like the place and time as nonverbal, how are we doing on time?
Well, yeah, we're over time, but continue on.
Consider what the spatial and temporal environment of the practice communicates about you. In the waiting area, you want to make sure it's always clean. You want to provide books, toys, and videos for children. Keep the area cool and comfortable. Suggest games or relaxation apps for the patient to download to. Oh, yeah, right. Operatory. Illuminate the workspace without direct light into the patient's eyes. Reduce ambient noise by closing doors, which I don't think is still okay, because there's got to be something about having closed doors and being a provider and stuff like that. I don't think
there's any problem with that, but we can talk about that another time.
Yeah. Okay. Fully stock and equip each operatory. And let's look at, so there's something called SMILES approach, and it's a focus attention on the patient and coordinate communication with the patient. So smile frequently and always smile when greeting a patient. You want to make contact, touch the patient on the arm or hand when greeting the patient. Avoid touching the reclining patient's legs, or feet. Incline towards the patient. So lean forward or tilt your head forward. Face the patient. You want to drop your hands when standing and place your hands in your lap when sitting. Keep your arms open and symmetric. Avoid gesticulating, particularly with instruments in your hand. Don't go waving your sharp instruments in their face. And make regular eye contact. So there's a lot of little things that are very good nonverbal cues in this chapter, and ways to, especially with your anxious patient and fear-based patients.
You know what?
So,
hold on. You know what though? Like, I've known doctors who they're so like impersonable that they work on all these things specifically, and they're like, okay, I'm sitting down, I have to put my hands in my lap. Okay, I'm Eye contact. Like that. Dog, that's too much eye contact. Stop looking at their eyes. Quit touching them.
There's creepy.
But they don't know.
Good eye contact, and there's creepy eye contact.
They've read this chapter, and they're like, okay, I have to do all of those things.
Okay.
Oh, my gosh.
If you don't think that's you, it's probably you. Yeah. Or maybe ask somebody if that's you.
If you're completely unaware of that situation.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was story time with Michelle.
Good word.
And I hope you all have a great week and happy 4th.
Bye.
Bye.
Hold on. Go ahead and do that one more time. Bye what?
Bye, y'all.
Thank you.